Hi, this is Yolanda Vanveen, and in this segment we're going to talk about how to transplant a dogwood. Now, dogwoods are a beautiful, beautiful tree, and they have gorgeous white and pink flowers that just look like paper roses, and they're just a delight in the garden, and they're just a really pretty plant to have. And they do get large over the years. So sometimes if you planted it right up against the house, or you moved into a new development and they have one right up against the house, they've gotten too big for that area and you need to transplant it. So the best time to transplant your dogwood is in the fall or the winter when it's dormant and when it can get lots of water. Because if you transplant it in the middle of the summer, then if it dries out, sometimes you can lose them. And even if you try to transplant one that's maybe 10, 20 years old, they're so big, it's really hard to transplant them. So it might be worth just starting over too, because you're going to need 10 people to move it. But if you have the patience, you can still do it. And the rule of thumb is when you're digging out the roots are going to be about the same size as the branches of the tree. So if the branch line is to a certain level, the odds are that the roots are to that same level. So when you dig it out, kind of go to where the leaf line is, go to the ground, and then just make a big hole all the way around, just working your way around gently with a shovel and going as deep as possible, because you don't want to break the tree off from the root because you'll lose it. And once you've got it out of the ground, or you can loosen it up, and if it's a large plant, grab some help. And it's always easy to put a sheet or a blanket or burlap underneath it, and that way it'll slide easier too, or you can try to lift it together with that. Sometimes that helps. And then always try to transplant it right away, whether into a container or the ground or another yard or your same yard. And always when you're digging your hole, try to dig the hole twice the size of the ball of the root, because that way the roots will have more area to grow and they won't have compacted soil. You want good compost, good drainage, good potting soil in there so that they can grow and have lots of room. And then plant it right away, and actually try to lift it a little bit above to the area, because you never want to have the main trunk covered with dirt. When you plant it back in the ground, cover the roots but never the trunk. And always add compost once or twice a year or every other year to the plant along the bottom, and you'll find you'll get lots of good nutrition. And water it really well if you live in an area where you're not getting the natural rain, and you will find that your transplanted dogwood will bloom wonderfully for you next year.